learn about them for the first time. And there will be time for questions, so we'll put them in the chat. When we're done, we'll go through all the questions. So make sure to, if you have questions as we go through, we can go back at the end and answer any questions you have. Our agenda. So we're going to talk about how to access Handshake, where to go to access Handshake, account management, jobs, internships, employment opportunities listed in Handshake, events, career readiness workshops, career fairs, virtual fairs. Those can all be found in Handshake. Employer profiles, employer messages, student, others, peer messages, and career center resources in Handshake. Let's go forward. So to access Handshake, the Career Center recommends you go through CareerLink. That's our career education platform. The reason we direct students to go through CareerLink is that's where a lot of our resources are housed. And so by putting Handshake, it's an additional Career Center resource, and you are also in close proximity to all of our other resources when going through CareerLink. You can use your student CSUN portal login credentials to access Handshake. Sometimes students will register without using their student portal login. And so there might be some login questions. Those can always be, if you have like unique login questions, those can always be directed to handshake@csun.edu, and that contact information will be in the presentation at the end. Set up your career interests, or you can skip them when you're first accessing Handshake. You can always go back and update them later. We'll go over those in the presentation. But there is an option to, when you first log in, you'll be asked to, like, what kind of jobs are you interested in? What's your what kind of industries, locations, and you don't have to set those up right when you log in. You do have the option to skip those. And then homepage and navigation menu. So let's go into Handshake. So to access Handshake, we recommend to go in through CareerLink and go to students, or if you're an alum, log into CareerLink. And of course, we need to do our web authentication. And so Handshake is under Handshake Jobs, Internships, and More. And as you can see, there's like on-campus employment resources, job shadowing, internships. Like, so there's additional resources besides just Handshake resources. So that's why we typically direct students to go in through CareerLink. There is, of course, a Handshake app, which is easy if you're going to and from school and you have a commute where you can be on your phone. You can look at like job openings, or if you're in between classes. It is a way to do career exploration on the go by having that app. But using a desktop is an additional way for you to like access the information and see it in a different way. And that's for the presentation. We're going to be going through Handshake as a website. So this is the home page. You have your navigation menu over here to the left. And we're going to go through these sections. I did just want to note that when you're on the phone, the navigation menu is on the bottom. So let's go back to the presentation. This is the home page, and you saw how I accessed it from CareerLink. And let's move forward. So next we're going to talk about account management. In Handshake, similarly to LinkedIn, another career networking tool, you have a profile. You can add, and then the unique thing about Handshake over LinkedIn is that it's for college students, and employers want to connect with college students specifically, even outside of LinkedIn. We have pretty much almost any employer you can imagine, like major employer, is in Handshake. They see the value of Handshake. They register a profile with Handshake because they want to connect with the job market that is college recruiting. And so Handshake is a unique tool offered to students. And you have a you can create a networking profile. You can add your projects that could be seen as like work experience. Employers can you can list projects as like transferable skills, and so that's what we'll go through the profile, but these are from your avatar and initials at the top. You have your profile. If you've saved any jobs, applied to jobs, you'd be able to see them here. Meetings you have scheduled with employers, documents, that's your resume, your cover letter, your transcripts, unofficial transcripts. And if you want to edit your career interests, and then very important is the settings. That's where you're going to access your privacy settings. So let's go into account management and see what these look like. So when you go to your avatar or your initials in the upper right hand corner, we have the profile. Some information is automated, like for you, like your major, your degree level, and if you need to make any changes, you can do that. You can share like a synopsis of yourself, your professional self. List your education. If you went to junior college first, you can include your community college information, or if you went to graduate school, or if you're a graduate student and you want to list your undergrad information, you can also list that in there as well. Work and volunteer experience, student government for a lot of like freshmen and sophomores. Like I hire freshmen and sophomores, and student government sometimes is something that stands out to me as someone who can work in a team and be organized and project oriented. So it's not just for work experience, it's also for volunteer experience. Organizations and extracurriculars. It's also a great way to connect with, if you're in a club or an org, and it's a national club or org, you can connect, and you're interested in graduate school in another state. It's a way for you to connect with like different college clubs and orgs across the country, and so it's a great networking tool. And filling out your profile allows others, if your profile set to community, will allow other students to connect with you too, even after you graduate. You can list courses, projects, specific projects, and if your profile is public, you can see what companies have looked at your profile. You can add skills. One thing I always recommend students to do is to just Google top 10 skills employers are looking for, and most of them are transferable skills that college students are learning, like critical thinking, teamwork, organization. So a lot of the things that you are learning as college students are skills that employers are looking for, not just the hard skills like Photoshop or Illustrator. And then if we go back to our avatar, I want to talk about documents. So one note about documents, that's where you can upload your resume, which of course this catering menu is not my resume, but it is visible on my profile. So maybe I should remove that. So it was that easy to make it not visible. So now an employer comes to my profile to look, they won't see this catering menu attached. But this is where you can organize and sort your documents that you can attach to jobs and internships. One note about your resume or any documents you upload, please do not include your actual address. This, if you make your resume public and it has your personal address on it, that is a security issue. And I'm strongly encouraging you to only, list your city and state, like Northridge, California. And that gives the employer a general idea of your location, but even if you want San Fernando Valley, or, just to give them an idea of your location, but city and state, I think that's a pretty standard way to identify your location generally. But don't include like your specific address. Going back to the menu, let's go to my career interests. Now, these are when you first log into Handshake, they're going to ask you these questions, and you would have the option to skip through them. And if you ever want to go back and later edit them, for example, right now you might be interested in an internship, but as you reach graduation, or if you're an alum, you might be looking for full-time employment. And so here you can change your interests and update them as you move through your college years. Your career interests are going to change, and the system will be able to send jobs to you based on what you set in these career interests. So making them mirror your interests, your actual career interests, will give you better results in Handshake. And I've noticed that they've gotten better. I get a lot of on-campus student employment jobs directed towards me. I think because I follow a lot of on-campus employers, but I set what kind of industries I'm interested in, what kind of job roles I'm interested in. Because yeah, I'm interested in education, but a lot of my interests are more in like business management. So but there's roles, job roles don't always translate to employer industry. And job functions. And when did I graduate? And then save my interest. And that's how you update your career interests. Next, I'm going to talk about the settings. This is a very important section in Handshake. This allows you to update your email, which after you graduate, your email, you lose access to your email. So if you're an alum and you want to continue using Handshake, rather than create a whole new account with a generic email, we recommend that you update your email in Handshake and then set it as your primary. So rather than getting emails to my CSUN email, I'm now getting emails to my generic email. So you have that option as a student, but it's highly recommended to do it before you graduate, because you will lose access to your CSUN email after you graduate. And then lastly, in the settings section is your privacy. So community is open for students, alums, and employers. So if you want to connect with people from different companies or different clubs and orgs, you would set your profile to community, because then you could reach out to students and alum and employers. There's no just specific student and alums, but there is a specific just employer. So if you're just interested in networking with employers, you would select the employers. If you are interested in connecting with both, community, and none, private. Employers will not be able to search for you or message you about internship opportunities. Now, we're going to talk about the messaging. We're going to go through these sections, and when we get to the messaging, there are a few exceptions where employers pay to do a campaign, and they're not specifically emailing you, but based on some of your targets in your profile, Handshake includes you in it in that messaging. But it's not they're not specifically sending it to you. It's just like a general email. And save update. I'm going to keep mine as community though, so I'm not going to save it. And let's go back to the presentation. Now, next we're going to talk about the job section. This section is probably the most popular section in Handshake. It's how you can search for jobs, apply for jobs. These are like transactions, real life transactions. You're applying for a real job and you can get a real interview and, you know, find a real job this way. The jobs are populated by relevancy based on your career interests, your academic information, and jobs that you've liked or saved, and employers that you've followed. So your activity in Handshake is going to determine like your relevancy. Just like your TikTok feed would show you, like based on the post you like, you know, it's the same smart technology. You have a career algorithm in Handshake. You can filter your job search. There's keyword search. That's just text like marketing, you know, and you can find any jobs that have the term marketing in it, you know, or job title. Then you can filter by location, on-site, remote. That's a popular filter. And then there's all filters where you can drill down even more specific about what kind of job, internship, full-time, part-time, on campus, major, industry. If you've saved a job, you can also find those in the job section under the Save tab. And then how to apply details. So sometimes employers are going to have specific details on how they want you to apply. And I've heard employers say that these detailed steps it's a way they screen candidates to see if they're detail oriented. So following those steps in the application process are important. And the Career Center can help if you have any questions about the application process. Let's go into Handshake again, and we're going to go to the job section. Now here we can see they're sorted by relevancy. If I want to change it by date posted, like what are the most recent jobs that have been posted, I can do it that way as well. And these are the most recent. And I'm seeing a lot of jobs in New York, and I'm like, no, I want to focus on Los Angeles. So I can search and I can, let's see, you know, I have limited amount of transportation time. So let's do within no more than 15 miles. And now I've filtered and I can see jobs that are closer to me, and I still don't have a lot of filters selected, but even though I've sorted it by date, maybe it's remembering some of my other filters. But let's say I'm looking for remote work. In that case, location wouldn't matter. And full-time job. And I can see remote jobs. Let's see, and let's do more. Full-time job, Paid, of course, I don't think there shouldn't be any in there that are unpaid unless it's an internship. Ones that CSUN has noted invest in diversity. And I'm not getting a lot of results that interest me. So let's see. Let's remove remote. Let's do on-site. And okay, so now we're remote on-site. And I'm seeing more employers. We have LAUSD, this is fresh. They just posted it. There's certain employers that we work with frequently, and LAUSD is a large employer for CSUN. And so yeah, I'm looking at I pulled them up as an example. These employers care a lot about recruitment and working with students, and hiring students after graduation. And so the fact that they're noted in our collection as investing diversity, they've been vetted and shared like hiring information about diversity and inclusion. And so that's just a unique way for you to filter. And there's a lot of different ways to filter in Handshake. But it's a lot more tailored to you as a student than if you were to just go into LinkedIn. There's also a way for you to search for jobs by your major. So I'm going to clear all the filters and I'm just going to go in by art. And let's see what shows up. So this is a student employment position. So as I'm not a student, so I wouldn't be able to apply for that job. And so I'm not even going to look at those two. Here's a spring remote graphic design intern. I can, and they want students to apply externally. So what that means is Handshake is going to take you to their career website to apply. They're just promoting that they have this job opening to CSUN students, but the application process is still on their website. So rather than upload your resume into Handshake and attach it to the position, they're going to send you to their website. Before they send you, though, they do have some instructions for you. And these are the details that are important for you to review. Operation. Please provide 4 to 5 project designs in one PDF or your website, writing for other internships, business. So they want writing samples, either attached in one PDF or if you had a website with those writing samples on it. So now we're going to go to their website and apply. This is where they want you to apply. So they have a lot of information in addition that they want to know about. And let's say I've never heard of this company. Let's say I want to look and see who is this employer. I can link to the employer profile right from the job description. And see information on Handshake. If I want to reach out, I can see people who are currently working there, what they've shared about it. I can message other students and ask them, like, I see you've worked at this company. I'm really interested. I was wondering if you could give me like some information on your experience and if you would recommend it. You know, let's say you liked it and you want to follow them. We'll go into employer profiles more later, but let's say you didn't find the information you were looking for on Handshake. I also recommend for students to go and search on Glassdoor, like that's a great way to see a less skewed like opinion. It's so you can go to Glassdoor and you can read reviews from other students. You can filter by most recent, lowest, highest rating, and see like, what other people say about the company, to give you a better idea and feel more comfortable, when you're working online and you don't know who these companies are. Researching is important. There are fraudulent activity, like fraudulent job scams out there. So researching and making sure that when you apply, it's either directly through Handshake, or when you go through, you've researched the company and you feel comfortable applying, and you've found a digital footprint and they seem reputable. So there is some research involved when applying to jobs online. Let's go back to the presentation. Oh wait, before we go back to the presentation, I did just want to show one example of how to apply. So this is an on-campus job, but just for an example, I want to show, I can go and select the job title, and I can see more information about the job description, view full description. I see more information. I can see that I don't match their school year because I'm not a current student. That doesn't mean you can't apply. I can still apply to this job if I want to. I just don't meet all of their qualifications, which it is recommended, not for on campus because you literally have to be a student, but if it's for a full-time job and you don't match the major or something, you should still apply, because maybe your work experience makes up for your education background, or maybe an employer doesn't really understand all the majors at campus and thought, oh, this is a marketing position, but communication students, might be interested in marketing too, or consumer affairs students might be interested in marketing. So you might have experience that or interests that make up for something that they've requested. You should still apply even if you don't meet all of the qualifications. So this job I'm applying to is collecting applications within Handshake. So when you apply, you can upload your resume. If you've already have one, it's that easy. If you don't have one, it's going to go to your computer and upload from your computer. And then they also want a portfolio of work samples. So that means it's a graphic design position. They want to see examples of my work. So I would upload it here. I recommend saving as a PDF all the files that you upload into Handshake, because it's a system, and Microsoft is like a unique program that sometimes becomes corrupt when it gets uploaded into a database. So that's why I recommend using, if your resume is in Word, save as PDF. If your resume is in Photoshop, save as PDF. If it's a JPEG, save as PDF. Always upload as a PDF. And if you're asked to upload your transcripts, you can log into your portal, copy and paste your unofficial transcripts from your portal, paste them into a Word document, and then save as PDF. Okay, so now we're going to go back. And if I wanted to save it, now if I go back to my job, if I go back to jobs and I go to saved, there it is. So like, let's say you're on the bus going home and you're looking at jobs and you're like, oh, I like that one, I'm going to apply when I get home. And then when you're on a desktop and you have more functionality and control over like what you're doing in Handshake, you can go to your saved and be like, oh yeah, these are all the ones I saved, like when I was waiting for my professor who was late, or And you can go back and review, and maybe after a closer inspection, you're like, oh, actually, I don't want to apply to that job, so it does give you a way to refer back to jobs that you saw and you liked, and that's the job section. And if you have questions, put them in the chat and we'll get to them. I'm gonna speed up and go through the presentation so that we have time for those questions. So let's go to the next slide. Now we're going to talk about events, and I'm not going to go into too much detail. Just about, again, in the events section, there's a lot of events. Employers can post events. We have 3 different career services on campus that use Handshake posting events. The College of Business, the Ernst & Young Accounting and Center for Careers in Accounting and IS. And then on top of all of those, then employers are posting sessions, and we have career fairs. So there's a lot of different events in there. We're going to go over the different types and how to filter. So let's get in there and see from the events section. This is where we land, and we have these filters up here. I can search posted by my school, specifically the CSUN Career Center. That's who's presenting today. We're the centralized career center, but then the College of Business has the Career Education and Professional Development Center. If you're a business student, you might be familiar with like the academic internship program that they manage in Handshake, or VMOC. It's an external like resume checking program that they use that's integrated into Handshake for business students. So they have their own career services that they they've invested in through like donations and gifts. So yeah, that's why they have it. Centralized Career Center has resources for all students, no matter what college you're from. If it's the College of Business, if it's the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences, engineering, science and math, arts, media and communications, health and human development, humanities, everyone. So if you want to just filter by our career center, then you can see like the different events that we're hosting. We have internship week events. Those are career readiness workshops a lot of times, but then there's also employer information sessions. I went to the Vanguard internship program last semester. It was really great. We're having a career fair prep one tomorrow. So if I want to filter based on event type, I can filter by career fair. If it's based on guidance, employer information session, and so that will let you see like the different events coming up. So if I do there, I see like, okay, there's the fall career fair, and on the fair page, you can join event. Now I'm registered. I can see if any employers I'm following are attending. Yes, some employers I follow are listed here, but if I want to see all the employers, and we're going to go through career fairs tomorrow at the career fair prep, but that is just a quick overview. If I want to RSVP for internship roadmap from start to finish, I can register here. And this lets the campus know, especially our leadership team, know that students are participating in these events and finding value in them. So registration helps show the value students find in our workshops to leadership on campus. So yeah, so you can, there's a lot of info sessions in here. And it's a great way to meet employers. There's virtual sessions. There's in person on campus. I want to see, they used to have, oh, there, medium, virtual. So let's say I only come to classes virtually. So if I want to see only like what virtual events we have offered. We have a virtual fair coming up this week through the College of Business. We have internship week workshops that are virtual, and employers are coming to different ones. There's ways for you to connect even virtually. So let's keep moving forward. Going back to the presentation, we're going to go to employers. Now, when you go to the employer section in Handshake, you have filters. Again, you can filter by employers you already follow. Keyword search employers. So let's say you're interested in finding TikTok, you can keyword search TikTok. Or if there's another employer you're kind of like, oh, I wonder if they have a Handshake profile, you just keyword search. One thing I've shared with students looking for on-campus jobs, I recommended do a keyword search for CSUN, follow all the employers in there. Anytime an on-campus employer posts a job, you'll be notified. When you follow an employer, you're notified when they post jobs or internships, or if they're coming to campus or hosting an event. So there's value in following employers in Handshake as well. On the employer profile, what can you find? You can find an about section. If they have any current job listings, they'll be listed in their profile. If they have contact information, sometimes they'll link out to a LinkedIn or social media, or their career website, or just their general website. And as we were kind of going through when we were looking at the job listings, we went to the employer profile. You can also see what other students have worked there. You can message them, ask them questions. What was the interview process like? What do you think made you stand out? And Handshake even has templates that you can message students with, so you don't even have to, it already starts the process on how to connect with them for you. And then if an employer, there's a public staff listing, they have employee perspectives. And then if they're a large company, they might even have tips and news on their profile. So let's go into Handshake and view the employers. Like I said before, if you're looking for on-campus employment, I recommend, you can go through and follow every time a CSUN employer posts a job, you'll be notified. Or if they host an event. That's a great way to learn about like openings on campus. Now I'm going to use TikTok as my example just because they have invested a lot in university recruitment and I really like their profile. So let's go to the TikTok page. Let's see. So one other thing to note, an employer's headquarters could be in New York, could be in Washington, D.C., but they have locations all over the country. So just because an employer has their headquarters located in another state, it doesn't mean that they don't have regional locations around you. So this is the TikTok employer profile. And you can read about like why employees like to work there, what their experience was like, what school they go to, and highlights from the reviews, contact information. So notice they link out directly to their career college, not even just their career page, but they have a specific page for college recruiting. College recruiting is a huge industry. It's a niche recruiting industry. And employers want to connect with students. Here you can see, like, can you see when I hover over the links in the lower left-hand side, you can see the link. It says it's taking you to their Facebook page. This one is taking you to their LinkedIn page. This one takes you to their Glassdoor. Oh, I love that. So they directly link out to their Glassdoor. That's great. Glassdoor is a great resource to really find like real reviews. And like, let's say you find like, oh, it looks like they just have a bunch of fake reviews. You can sort by, let's see, reviews. I would say theirs seems pretty normal. If it looks like perfect scores and you look and there's a lot of like bad reviews, then, that might make you feel like, so let's see, why do people not like working there? Okay, well, this lets you it gives you an idea of when people are struggling and why were they struggling. There's some good information to find. Could be, and then it's important to see what are the positives, like why do people like to work there? So it's a good resource, and some employers have it linked out from their page, but you can always look online by doing a keyword search in your search engine, like Google or DuckDuckGo, and yeah, you can message students. So like I was saying, when you go to message a student, they give you like templates. So of course, you want to make it personalized, but these templates are great, and they really start the process for you. And you can see some more information. They do not have a public staff listing, but they do have like general info and general information here. So yeah, that's the employer profile. Next, we're going to go back to the presentation. We're going to talk about the inbox. So I'm not going to go into the inbox and Handshake. You access it from this navigation menu on the left-hand side, and you can see my messages. Now, a few things to note: if your privacy is not set to community or employers, you're not going to receive targeted messages from employers like based on like you can get job recommendations to apply. Maybe you've already received them. When an employer posts a job, they set criteria of what they're looking for. If your profile matches the criteria the employer's looking for, and your profile is set to employers or community, an employer can message you and say, they don't see everything on your profile. They'll see some academic information like your major, your class level, your name.
Sarah, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we're at 11:49.
Okay, so we should open up to questions.
If you're ready to open up for questions, that would be great.
Yeah, just one more thing, employers can also schedule messaging like chats with you, and premium and employers can message you, but it's like a marketing campaign that's not they don't send it specifically to you. It's like based on, oh, I want to send an email to marketing majors who are seniors and that are in this demographic. Then they can send a targeted email, but they don't see that it's you specifically. And then lastly, just really quick, going through the Career Center tab, a important section is the resource sections within the Career Center section. In the resources, you can find job search safety tips for applying for jobs online. There's the resume guide that's been created by the Career Center. You can access LinkedIn Learning as a student. I always recommend, I'm a non-traditional major. I was an art major. I took some Excel courses and learned about like data management. And so CSUN LinkedIn Learning helps with a lot of those hard skills that maybe you're not getting in your like humanities or arts major, but you want to go into like work in any kind of like work nowadays requires some kind of project management skills, and there's some great resources in LinkedIn Learning to help you learn about that maybe as a business major you're getting in your classes, but as a humanities or arts major you're not getting. And then if you're a business major and you want to take a drawing class, they have like illustration classes in there. So it's a great tool. And yeah, that's pretty much the main section in there. And then I've just listed, I'm going to keep this slide up. This is like some campus representatives who are also in Handshake besides the CSUN Career Center. We've got work study. We have the career professional development office in the College of Business. We have the Ernst & Young and the accounting and information systems department. And then alumni relations will also post like career related events in Handshake from time to time with alumni. So those are the resources. And let's answer questions.
Hi, yeah, thank you so much for the great presentation, Sarah. So one of the questions is, let's say you're part of a club, but don't have a leadership position. How would I list my position?
You don't have to list your position. You can just list that you're in the club. From what I've seen, well, if you're having an issue putting it in there, you could just say member, club member, if it's asking you for a title. But yeah, we can go in and look at that. You can call me here or email me here if you have questions. Let's keep going, but you shouldn't have an issue with that.
You could list member. You could say you were a member and then the name of the club and the dates.
Thank you, Janet.
You're welcome.
And I think Christian has a question, so he can go ahead before I continue.
Oh, actually, if you can please ask it over through the chat. All questions are to be directed to the chat. Because we are recording and we are posting on YouTube, we can't have any live questions.
Okay, let's see. What if you don't have a transportation option? Is there an option to work at home? So yeah, you can filter your search by remote, and you can filter like your job search by remote. And that should help finding work from home. So how do recruiters find us, search for us? Do they use a profile skills tab? So the system is gonna like match you with employers based on your major, your graduating year, and even your career interest. Let's say they're posting a job that's business analyst and you've indicated in your profile you're interested in the job role business analyst. You could be targeted as somebody who would be interested in that job. Handshake can email it to you. The employer could see that you could be a good potential candidate to the employer, and then the employer can message you if your profile is if your profile is public to employers, either employers or community. The employer will see a professional profile of you depending on what you've chosen to share on your profile. And they can message you and ask you to say, hey, I think this would be a good job for you. I was on, okay. I have done this, however, they told me I needed to swim up before you and I. So, great thing that I have the additional campus representatives in Handshake in this slide, because if you're having issues applying to jobs because of VMOC, this is the number you need to contact, and this is the email you need to contact. nazariancareers@csun.edu. The centralized career center doesn't have access to VMOC, so we can help you with like your resume writing. If you have a resume that you need help getting it critiqued to make it go into VMOC, then you can definitely come in during our drop-in hours to get your resume critiqued. But if it's a technical issue with VMOC, then those questions would go to the Career and Professional Development Office. I don't think okay. Should we add all of our volunteer experience or just some of it? So if you have like 10 or more experiences, I would try and consolidate them and think of your resume as, think of your profile as like a resume and a digital resume almost. So you want to highlight, if you over highlight everything, then nothing's highlighted, right? So if you have a lot of experience, and you're applying to a job, you want to make sure that the volunteer experience that you're highlighting on your profile is complementing that job description very well. If I'm reading this experience, I want to feel like it's in sync with what my job description roles are. I have done that. Okay. Does Handshake filter the jobs that are fraudulent, or should we still look out for that? So Handshake does an amazing job of reviewing employers and jobs that are fraudulent, and then on top of that, the Career Center goes through and reviews jobs and internships and employers for fraudulency. We don't typically allow employers to post with generic emails. If they don't have a company email domain, we typically don't let them into Handshake. If they're posting from a residential address, there needs to be a certain level of infrastructure, a digital footprint for an employer to connect with us. And when they come to us without that infrastructure already in place, we'll refer them to other job listing databases like Indeed, Craigslist, LinkedIn. Even the Sundial has a classified section, the CSUN Sundial. If you're familiar with our digital newspaper on campus, they have a classified section for job listings. And so we can refer them to the CSUN classified section in the Sundial. But yeah, we typically vet all the employers that come into Handshake. But if you're receiving an email, sometimes employers will send an email to students because your emails are not they're public information. Like, people can find your emails and send you an email, and they'll say, oh, we're contacting you from your Career Center. One thing to look out for fraudulent activity, which this is in that resource section in Handshake, is where are they sending you an email from? Is it from a Gmail? Is it from a Yahoo email, sbcglobal.net? Is it a generic email? If it is, why are they sending you an email from a generic email if it's this big company? Like, why are, so you want to look out for what email are they sending it from? Can you find a digital presence of this person online? So you have to be investigative, which a lot of people nowadays know how to do, find a digital footprint of a person that they're connecting with, so you're not being a stalker by wanting to learn more about a company or a person you're sharing your information, you would potentially share your information with. It's cybersecurity. Okay. Okay, do employers need to verify the volunteering you do? They could ask for a reference. Usually references are provided after references upon request, it doesn't even have to be written. Employers will usually, if they're interested in calling a reference, they'll ask you for one. Yeah, could I add that I am part of a co-ed business fraternity on my profile, but I don't have a leadership. Okay. So yeah, like Jan had said, just note that you are a club member. So member would be your title. You're not in a leadership position, but your position in the club is member. That's for Fatima. Okay, I know we can search for job opportunities in job search, but I'm wondering, is there this for a bakery? I'm sure there are bakeries out there looking for business management. of course, you know, a bakery is a business. So just like any other business, you know, you have your structure of what you need in business. You know, you need marketing, accounting, web support, business management. You know, you need to know who your clients are. So yeah, you need to manage your inventory and make deadlines. So yeah, I'm sure there could be a business marketing opportunity for a bakery. It would just require some research on your part. Do you guys have event? And the career center can help you if you have questions. You should come to drop-in hours. Do you guys have events that help graduate students with structuring or reviewing a resume? Yeah, we have lots of resources online. We have YouTube videos on resume writing. CareerLink has our resume guide, which I link out in our career center resources in Handshake. We have a lot of resources for resume writing. We also do drop-ins. So if you wanted to have your resume critiqued, you could come in during our drop-in hours. They're in person and virtual. The schedule's on our website, csun.edu/career. How frequently do they alert me with new job posts? I get job posts every day. To be honest, I just go through and delete them for the most part, unless that, you know, sometimes I look at them but most of the time I delete the job alerts that come into my inbox, but I do get them. What are some clues that you can give to recognize? Okay, so like I said, the email domain, like sometimes they'll even like put our logo in an email and say, your career center recommended this, but it's from like a fraudulent Gmail or, you know, so always look at the email address. If it's a Gmail or generic email, sbcglobal.net, you know, question that. If, you know, you go to the website and it looks like a shell, you know, question that. Or if you go and you don't find any profile for the business on Google Maps or Yelp or, you know, Glassdoor, question like, what kind of infrastructure does this company have? Like, why can't I find any information on who they are? And why are they emailing me from a Gmail? Those are red flags for fraudulent jobs. And there's more in the job search safety tips in Handshake. Hi, Sarah, would I be able to email you a verification of attendance? Yes, if you need a verification of attendance, please email handshake@csun.edu and we can get those signed for you. And is there any work for animation? Well, you can do a simple keyword search animation and you can see any jobs that come up with animation. Animation is a job role, so you can look that up. DreamWorks and Marvel. So yeah, you can go and look for employers. I'm pretty sure is Marvel through Disney. I'm not sure the structuring of that program for Disney and how they hire for Marvel. Is it an external? Is it standardized across Disney? I'm not 100% sure. But also CareerLink, you can go into CareerLink. There's the career profile section where you can search the career profile animator and see what kind of professional organizations are associated with animation. What are the job roles typically associated with an animation major? What else? And then learn about the different companies that are hiring and follow them. And anytime, like follow DreamWorks, follow Disney. Anytime they come on campus, you'll be notified. Anytime they post a job or an internship, you'll be notified right away. Go to their career page and look at their career page and see what kind of job openings they have on their website. Sometimes they have listings on their website that they don't put on Handshake. Sometimes they have listings in LinkedIn that are not on their website or in Handshake. I was just looking through LAUSD the other day and I was seeing some jobs that were on their website. Oh no, it wasn't LAUSD, it was LACC, so Los Angeles Community Colleges. You know, there's a network of community colleges. And I was looking to see what job openings they had on their website, and they were different than the ones that they had listed in LinkedIn. So job search, you know, there's lots of different resources you can use. They're all valuable. LinkedIn is great. Handshake is great, especially if you're a student, even a graduate student. If there's entry-level employment, like full-time, part-time, and internships. So, yeah. Thank you so much. So I think, yeah, we're good. It's 12:06. We went a little over. I'm gonna stop sharing and thank you all for your time. Thank you, Jan, for hosting Internship Week. Do you have anything you want to close out about Internship Week?
Yes, I'd just like to share, thank you so much, students, for coming today. Sarah is our expert and she's really informative. There's so much to learn about Handshake. It's really a deep system, so it's pretty exciting, to learn about it. I would like to invite you to participate in additional sessions today. The next session up is Handshake A to Z. We just completed, and the next session up is my session on internship roadmap from start to finish. Then we have Lockheed Martin, and then our final session of the day, I believe today is, I'm blanking, Sarah. Who is it? It's Vanguard. Vanguard is our final session of the day today. So please, if you'd like to attend, you can sign up through Handshake. And we look forward to seeing you. We have many more sessions throughout the week, so you can check them out. They're all posted in Handshake. You can do a search under Internship Week, and all the sessions should pop up and they should become available for you. So anyway, thank you again. We look forward to seeing you. We look forward to seeing you at future sessions. And do know that this event was recorded and live streamed. So those sessions will appear on our CSUN Career Center YouTube channel. I did post our link in the chat, or you can just go to YouTube and search for CSUN Career Center and it should pop up. So again, thank you for coming today. And thank you so much, Sarah, for your informative presentation. All right, goodbye now.
I put the link in the chat.
Oh, Sarah put the link in the chat.